This incident's the talk of all the town, and frankly, they regard you with a frown. I'm grateful that you take the time to meet. I trust my abstract you are in receipt. Let me sum up the essence of my thesis, then break it down for you in small pieces. I don't suggest your innocence or guilt. Whatever way we find the scales may tilt, should not a Christian man forgive, forget. For poor Damis, have you no slight regret? Have you no single corner in your heart? For son and father you now drive apart. Opinion has begun to quickly drift against whom they suspected caused this rift. Before this all should lead to insurrection, let's try here to impede this misdirection. Together we can work to somehow patch it, shake hands, and somehow put away this hatchet.
A capital idea. Would that I could put blood behind us, focusing on good. I carry toward the boy no wicked malice. I gladly share with him a sacred chalice. But as I honor those who honor God, the town would surely think it rather odd. Should I break bread with one who did so slander? The world would not help suggest I banned. Righteous quarrel, once did split us two, reunion. Bring all up for review. They think I caved in out of shame and guilt. Under conscience pressure I did will. That under most public of attention, I bought my peace with bathroom intervention.
Your logic is severely out of whack, and here to seem to greatly slip the track. Can you not simply act as our dear Christ? Or must you shield yourself as heaven's shyster? Don't try to second guess around God's will, but hope for promise He'll one day fulfill. If some decision's good in the abstract, we're not to weigh how public will react. Shall fear of general misapprehension forsake us to a slavish, stiff convention? No! Let us follow in God's sacred path, and don't conspire to legislate God's wrath.
I said his sin I instantly forgave, in spite of how he spit and rent and raved. But there's no prophecy nor holy writ to stand by one who in my face does spit.
Where was it writ, sir? You were obligated to fortune hunt from son so disinstated. To let Orgon so quickly change his will reduces prospects for Damis to nil.
It would require a wickedness innate to think I plotted for Orgon's estate. I have no interest in a shining treasure. Fair heaven tests us by another measure. If my brother's wealth should now convert through me, I take it, lest it might convert a weaker soul, more tempted by its shine, less apt to heed the will of the divine. An heir might well be tempted to descend to worldly means, to ungodly ends. I do this as a favor to the donor. Accept this burden lest it harm its owner.
Your logic once more heads the wrong way round, and you see your dilemma as profound. For each must answer for a fault or vice, and God then tabulates the final price. And while such riches threaten heaven's peace, the challenge rightly falls to young Damis. While public sentiment is your fixation, is swindling, not the harsher accusation. I tell you, sir, the outside world is stunned. You now appropriate from Orgon's fund. Does your religion say that some descendants be cheated just to teach them a transcendence? Perhaps if you two cannot live together, it's best that you magnanimously sever the ties that threaten to tear this house apart, thus proving the precision of your heart.
It's late. I've stayed much longer than I dare. You must forgive my hasty exit.
Married.
Please stay. Lynn, Marianne, your kind support, I feel, may be our last resort. Her father's turn in this career situation has stumped the girl with fear of conjugation. Please, join with us as we take a stand to work to get this horrid man banned. He comes. Please help us now to stone to weather.
Aha! I thought to find you forged together. I had, child, the contract for your rapture with time. your whole heart will capture.
My father, all you regard as blessed, or any faith you have hereby professed, do not use power as a stick to censure, or sacrifice your daughter to inventor. You quell my spirit and my heart's destroyed by making me a pawn that you employed. For treated as a thing to be possessed, I cannot but respond as one oppressed, and hate the very breath that gave me life, and slaying against my heart another's wife. And if your needs must keep you from the lair, make not a curse out of my every prayer, by binding me to one whom I revile, to choke me with a hatred and a bile. I beg you, sir, please understand that this would lead me desperate to the abyss.
Please now my heart against human weakness hold.
I challenge not your right to give your gold. Take all I have and leave me destitute, if I might beg your sentence to commute. I freely give. I wish him not but well, long as those riches don't include myself. Don't take your daughter an unwilling cloister, but rather let her die in holy cloister.
A cloister? Ha! All girls do sing that tune when failure in a moor leads them to moon. My daughter, rise. As you abominate him, the more honor there shall be when you mate him. Betroth Tartuffe, and discipline your sex, or else you'll shake on reef of my great breath. Subdue yourself, you harlot, or this shall turn your cheek a shade of scarlet.
If I might intervene now and suggest...
Inhuman counsel, brother, you're the best. Your sane advice is logically thought through, but following, I do plan to eschew.
I simply have no clue where to begin. Your ignorance perpetuates this sin. This morning was a shot across the bow, but now you still reprise your wretched vow.
My wife, you make no secret how you favor my son, but one dread moment you did quaver. When he looked for endorsement of his lie, your exit clearly read as your reply. Should you have wished to reinforce the tale, you should have stayed behind to make the sale.
If man should violate with indiscretions, must women fret with politic impressions? When men push our honor to the brink, is our sole course to raise a nasty stink? Such sordid acts are more shame to the man than object of his sad and flaccid plan. I'll be no sanctimonious taskmaster, nor will I paint flirtation as disaster. Yet, though the man may stoop to act the least, a woman's honor is not his fevered feast. I scorned his unsolicited advances, his foul harassment, groping, and his glances. This was no plan to drive you to a part, but I'll not play your guests. Compliant talk.
Do you here contradict the proven facts?
Your ears, are they now overgrown with wax? Would it be different, do you suppose, if demonstrated right beneath your nose?
You demonstrate?
Yes!
Nonsense!
I can show you living proof of just how low he'll go.
Impossible.
Don't shrug off with disgust. I don't ask you to take your life on trust. Suppose you did secrete yourself away to overhear in private what you'd say. You'd still then wish your daughter on a cast.
Of course not! But it's false. You've all gone mad. It's ludicrous.
Hold that thought there. Who thinks more than the truth has been laid there? I'll give a clear-cut option to your guests to show them we're the vipers in this nest.
I'll stand by here and watch him clear his name, and then we'll know which way to fix the blame.
Send him, Tartuffe. You'll now be most alert. The slightest slip will cue him to avert. No, honor blinds him from our instigations. It's vanity that drives men from their patience. Send him along. Please wait outside the room. Get under here to watch our lovely groom.
Huh?
You wish Tartuffe to see you there.
Why?
We must see him on for a test that's fair. While I establish friendly repartee, you'll witness what he twists a vulgar way. But make no sound until you're satisfied.
Well, only to indulge you will I hide, that we may play this out till it ends.
And once we have, you'll wish to make amends. Now, don't be startled if I act bizarre. To hook him, I may reach out rather far. But you will see that once he takes the bait, the impetus is his to seal his fate.
moment I could die a happy death. So long I've longed for kind word of affection, which I now feel in your most fair inflection. But by your leave I pause for just a thought. What if your daughter's wedding has now brought you to the point of warming to this lust? What proof have I to loosen my distrust? It's possible that once the wedding's off, my passions might again be yours to stop. I fear I must withhold my fond decision till you assuage your intimate provision. I hesitate to act on my delight, until my love you manage to requite.